Okay, hi guys, I'm Beth, 35, from just outside of London in England, and this is going to be my new vlog. It's my erhu blog. Those of you are wondering what on earth I'm talking about, this is an erhu, and it is a Chinese, well, what we call in the West a Chinese fiddle. You'll have to excuse me for using the term West, it's just so much easier than English-speaking countries. So yeah, we call it the Chinese fiddle, but its real name is the erhu. And it's one of the most beautiful sounding instruments I've ever come across. How did I find out about this? Well, it was for a gentleman called Wong Li Hong. Yes, I know you're all asking, who is he? So he's a very, very famous Chinese singer, American-born Chinese singer, huge all around the world. Recently had his first tour in London, which I was fortunate enough to see. I went to his concert and met him. Fantastic. So, you know, he plays erhu in a lot of his songs. So, and I was just like, wow, that's beautiful. I love stringed instruments, as some of you may know, violin, cello, love them all. Beautiful sound. So I thought, I want to learn to play it. So I ordered one, and I have to tell you, it is a very cheap, nasty erhu, okay? I didn't want to spend a lot of money on shipping an instrument over that I didn't know if I was going to be able to play. And, I was like, what if it doesn't arrive, So I just bought a very cheap, basic, very cheap, unfortunately, basic erhu. The strings on it, I think, must be the cheapest strings China has to offer, so I'm going to order some better strings. And unfortunately, the bow that came with it is of very, very poor quality. I had to, when it arrived, I had to cut off loads of the hair, because even after tightening the bow, they were all loose and hanging all over the place, and they're still regularly coming off. On their own. Look, we've got one hanging off here now. There you go, see. So, it doesn't sound very nice at the moment, but that's okay. I'm going to order a new bow. I'm going to order some better strings. Experienced erhu players out there, if you can maybe recommend some good strings for me, and perhaps a good bow. Not too expensive at the moment, because like I say, don't know if I can play properly yet. So anyway, yes, the erhu. Your bow goes in between the strings of an erhu, so you can't take it out. It's not like a violin bow, because obviously you've got to play an inner and an outer string, so you can't have it on the top, because you'd have to keep swinging your instrument around. So erhu is tuned, your outer string, your lower string is tuned to D, and your inner string, is it outer, inner string? I'm not sure which it is. Can't remember which is the outer and which is the inner. The other string is tuned to A. Okay, so I found a wonderful device online called erhu guanyin, which I'm not sure if my tone on guanyin is right there, but it's basically an electronic erhu tuner. It also is fantastic because it not only gives you D and A, it has like the whole range of notes available on the erhu here, and it has little lines and colour blocks telling you the accuracy of what you're playing, which is really, really helpful for a beginner like me. I do have a musical background. I can play flute, piano, dabbled in a tiny bit of violin and cello, but never really got very far with them because, well, we won't go into that. But so I do know a little bit about music. So we're just going to check it's in tune here. Now, to play the erhu, you have to, from what I've seen, I don't have a teacher. There's no teachers at all where I live. Obviously, I'm not in China. But from what I can make out in videos and the few instructions that I found in English, your fingers go in between the bow like this, so you can pull to play the inner string. And your thumb goes over the top and you put pressure on that to play the inner string. So let's just check it's in tune here. So you don't hold your erhu up here. I'm not sure of the exact hold yet, and like I say, I'm working from a lot of Chinese descriptions and stuff, but I believe basically your hand goes something like this, so your first three fingers can reach, and your palm is down, and your wrist is meant to be flat and in line. And I'm not sure, I believe this piece of string here is called the guanjin. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but I'm not sure if I have that in the right place yet either, because obviously nobody here to help me set up. So, and I think I've got my bridge, I hope, in the right place. I had to set this all up myself. So, yes, remember, we have incredibly horrible cheap strings on here and incredibly horrible cheap bows, so we're not going to get a particularly wonderful sound, and it has a tendency to screech on a push bow on the open D string, but yeah, so it says that's pretty much D here, and then your outer string, yeah, so I've got the little green box and the blue lines, it says it's on A, so it's in tune as best as I can get it without any fine tuners. So the first scale you're going to learn to play on the erhu apparently is D major. Okay, so you've got F sharp and C sharp. Okay, having to remember my musical theory here. So I've had this now for about a week, but I've actually only probably managed to pick it up and play with it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours tops so far. You know, because it doesn't sound particularly nice, and I'm waiting for new bows and strings and stuff. But the thing I've noticed that is particularly difficult about this is you think you've got your finger in the right position, okay, but I'm starting to realise I think you're just meant to stop the string rather than press it, because we go from D here to first position, which is going to be E, which is about there somewhere. But if you press, it'll go out of tune. So you have to, it's really tricky. You've got to make sure you keep your pressure the same all the time. So we have E, and then F sharp is around about here somewhere, I think. Yeah, good, got it. F sharp. And then you go to G. Oh, no, missed it. See, it's a tough one. G. Okay, so that's the bottom of the scale. So, see what I mean? It shrieks on the push bow. It's just not right. I've put loads of rosin on there. I'm guessing it's 'cause terrible bow. Okay, so you're pushing on this piece here to pull the strings, and now we want to go to the outer string. Yes, it's the outer string. So we push down, we're going to take a finger off, and we're going to go for A, and then we're going to go for a B. Yeah, it's around about there. B, maybe a bit high. F sharp, C sharp, sorry. Oh, D. You know, so I've already been doing this an hour or so, and I just don't know what I'm doing. It's okay on the pull bow. It's not too bad on the pull bow, but on the push, it goes horribly wrong. So yeah. Hopefully, new bow, new strings will improve the sound a lot. Obviously, some of it is going to be my bowing technique still at the moment. You know, I think I can get quite a good sound on the outer string here. I don't know why it makes that sound. It's really tricky. An hour or so playing, I'm not going to get this, I don't think. So that's as close as I'm going to get to a correct D major scale at the moment. But anyway, yeah, I will keep making videos, keep you informed of my progress, which is going to be very slow. I've also, when I first downloaded a piece of a scale, I was expecting, you know, to see Western notation, and I got greeted with a bunch of numbers. And I'm like, what's this? And apparently it's called jianpu. And again, I'm not sure on my tones there. Jian means simple, I know that. And pu, I don't know what that means. So, but it's like from what I've read and what I can make out, it is a movable do system. So do is always your first note of the scale, no matter what you tune your erhu to. Do is always the first string. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and the music is written like with numbers, so I've got to learn to read that as well. So yeah. I think it's gone slightly out of tune. It's really cheap. If I do manage to pick it up and make it sound a little bit better with some decent strings and a decent bow and decent rosin and stuff, then I will invest in a better erhu. But I just didn't want to spend a lot of money until I knew a little bit more about what I was doing and which companies to trust. So yeah, erhu players, if any tips you can give me, preferably in English, although I do understand some Chinese. I'm studying Chinese, so I think my hold there is about right. I'm not sure, and I think my bow hold is about right there. I'm not sure how far you tip the erhu, so sounds horrible on that string. So yeah, keep watching. Tips, advice, anything you can give me. Very simple piece of music in D major. First octave would be wonderful. And yeah, my erhu, and I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. Bye.